I love cookies. I love cookies. I love cookies. I love cookies.
Welcome to Cookies, the basketball podcast. I am Ben Detrick. With me, as usual, Jordan Redaelli.
Hello, hello, hello.
Andrew Kuo is also here.
Hello, hello,
Hello.
So, Jordan,
What?
how are you feeling today?
I feel great.
You have a big night.
Why you just bring this up straight out of the gate? You had a big goddamn night. Fuck shit up, son.
Tell us all about it, man.
What happened out there?
Went and saw Cookies model and part-time drummer Moses Malone Archuleta play in his band Deer Hunter at Brooklyn Steel. What's up, Moses? Pretty hard rocking show, I must say. The hardest I've rocked in a number of years.
Since
Go
like,
on.
I don't know, Tuesday night.
Yeah. No, it was a really good show. There was a lot of Cookies Hoops merch in the
That's what
dressing
we like
room.
to hear. That's
Oh,
we like
what
to
did you see out there? What did you spot in IRL?
I spotted a fan of Moses's sniffing his play ball Whoopi Goldberg long sleeve,
Nice.
inhaling it. Got pics too. That's it. It was a great show.
Excellent. And did you ingest anything that could have an impact on your performance today? I think is what the listeners want to know.
Are you on PEDs?
Yeah, well, I kind of went with like the opposite ends of the spectrum. It was a potent concoction of vodka Red Bull
Nice.
on one hand and horse tranquilizers on the other.
A really neutral buoyancy.
Yeah, just like right. It was right in the pocket there. It was right in the, what's that called? The dunk spot.
Yes, that's right.
Jordan floating in from the free throw line.
I've always been curious about the K-hole. Tell us about it.
It's not worth doing K unless you get in the hole.
Go on.
It's full Thunderbirds, you know, like you. Time slows down. It feels like you're. When I do it, when I'm walking, I feel like I don't have any shins. It's like my ankles are attached right below my knee joint. And you got to kind of like flip your feet out. Yeah, I don't know, just Thunderbirds or like
Is it like that
Team
train,
America World Police, which
like
is
that train spotting like hole where like you feel like you're diving out of like focus or something?
it's more of a time warp.
Would you say it would be?
And you think that you're speaking really slow and moving really slow, but you're not. That's just your perception.
That sounds super fun.
what would it? What would it do? What would it do on the basketball court? Do you think it could be used to benefit a player?
If that player was a horse who needed to go to sleep,
Yes.
that would be it.
Go
There's
on.
absolutely no benefit to it. What are you, crazy? The only benefit would be doing it to just watch. But I have indeed played basketball affected as such. I smoked.
On K?
Yeah. I smoked like dusted weed that I didn't know was dusted with K, like in high school before a game, because we used to smoke weed before our games. And it was a complete and
Did
utter
you like every shot was a
disaster.
sky hook?
Well, no, the first thing is like it was me and my friend, and we were late to the game, so they started with 4 on the court because you're allowed to do that.
I like that.
And we sat on the bench, and everyone was like waving at us, and we're like, "We'll be there in a second. We'll be there in a second. We'll be fine." They're like, "No, like we're a man down. Come on." And so we got in the game, and then my friend went to dunk it. He was on the fast break, and I was running behind him, and he like took 2 steps and then just crumpled into the wall. Like he didn't even get off the ground, and he was a pretty good dunker.
Because you guys didn't know the weed was laced.
No.
Right.
And we got chased by a dog on the way to the courts too. It was an awful afternoon.
Real
all around.
disaster.
Do you become more of a passer, a facilitator, or do you just want to take every shot?
I couldn't do a goddamn thing. When he fell over, I decided to ignore the basketball that he had dropped that was still in play and just jump on top of him and start punching him for fun. So yeah, not the best.
I've never really liked playing ball after smoking weed. I don't think it there's a lot of people who do that even like as adults. Like it's like part of a routine, like smoke some weed, play ball. Like the other
That's
day.
crazy. I was 16, man. What else?
I'm saying
You
people
can do everything on weed when you're 16.
Of course. Well, I'm saying that was that same era when I would like smoke weed and play ball. Now, even the other day, I was meeting up with some friends of the pod, and people smoked some weed and then played. And I don't really enjoy that dynamic, but that's also because I'm not a particularly good weed smoker. I feel like if you're an excellent weed smoker, maybe you're unaffected, or there's like some even potential benefit. I don't know.
I was at my friend's house one time, and he was like ripping bongs, not even just a joint. And I was like, "Whoa, what are you up to?" And he's like, "About to do my taxes." And he was for real doing his taxes. He just zoned in.
Was it Ron Artest who used to get drunk at halftime at the Garden? Who was that? Who came out and was like,
Chris Mullen?
I had some, J.R. Smith maybe? I had someone run out and get me some alcohol at halftime, and like, I forget.
I don't know. I don't think any modern player would acknowledge it unless they were also admitting being an alcoholic. Because you can't be like, I did a couple shots at the half and got back out there.
Yeah. It must happen though.
We've all played ball.
I could imagine if you were
not
like
helpful either.
No.
I could imagine if you were like a little bit stressed out and stuff, you could do a little shot of tequila or something at halftime.
Yes.
Yes. I mean, I used to have beers at St. Dimphna's before the Friday night run.
Sure.
I mean, that's totally
like
acceptable.
Pretty loose, you know.
That's some YMCA like softball keg
A
stuff.
couple Jaegers.
Exactly.
Ooh.
Some Jaeger
That's
some
the
Jaeger
thing.
shots.
If I'm a little drunk and a little Dutch courage there, I'd start letting them fly.
That's right.
Maybe that's why you've been hesitant to let the 3 balls fly. You just haven't
Been drunk enough.
done a couple fireballs.
God damn it, Jordan. Drink up, man.
All right, time out. Someone go to the bodega, get Jordan some Ballantine, and have him like take it to the head because we need you here.
Jordan, where are you?
Focus on the game. Get him a drink. No more distractions.
All right, yeah, fuck it. I'm gonna start doing it. I'm gonna come back and start playing.
I remember playing with this dude who was like very good at ball. I think he played like D2 or D3, early 20s. Came and just destroyed everybody and was like, yeah, that was fun because I just came from having 7 beers. I'm just like, right, the youth. We could put down 7 beers and just demolish everyone on the court, like raining threes on us. Like, all right, that's even more impressive than just raining threes.
What about when I always talk about this. This is like the 5th time when Turco eats an entire Domino's pizza right before he goes out to warm up.
But what is his reason behind that?
He said he's just really hungry and doesn't like to be hungry during the game. A whole goddamn pizza, man.
But isn't there something else that he could eat other than pizza? That
I
would
know
be better?
that's the question, right? He just wants that whole cheese pizza.
Like carb loading or something.
It's so weird.
There was a story, I can't remember if it was an article or an anecdote that someone had shared about playing ball in Europe and how it was different, where it was kind of like, yeah, before the game, you got to dinner, you have a glass of wine. It was just all very civilized. And it was like, look at your AP. Oh, it's time to go play the game.
Yeah.
And they'd kind of like roll over there leisurely, sip a little cappuccino, get out there, play some ball. I was like, that's the way to live. No wonder like Rudy Fernandez went back.
I remember playing
There's no
high
paella
school
in the locker room here.
I remember playing
No
in a high
paella
school
zone.
team, and we traveled, and instead of eating after the match, we ate before the match. And the coach, teacher, whoever it was, decided it'd be a good idea to go to Sizzler, which is fucking insane because
classic
it's,
90s restaurant.
It's like, oh yeah, let's get a bunch of 17-year-old kids to an all-you-can-eat restaurant like an hour before we have to play a game of basketball on the road.
Why not do it after?
I don't know. Maybe we had to be home. Whatever. But there we all were, like slurping Jello slices off the plate, like Animal House.
You guys went for the Jello?
Oh yeah, we thought it was hilarious. We're like, whoa, we can do it in one shot. And a little bit sluggish on the floor after that.
I can imagine.
When you guys were growing up, what were the buffet options? Like the all-you-can-eat spots that you went to as a teenager when you had like $7 and you just would gorge for hours on end?
Fuddruckers used to have...
Excuse me?
It was
What
called,
did you just call Jordan?
You dirty Fuddrucker.
That's the worst thing you can say to an Australian.
No, it was a hamburger chain.
You know what a Fuddrucker is where I come from?
Is it a hamburger chain?
My father was a Fuddrucker.
My father's father was a Fuddrucker. No, it exists.
Call me Jordan. My father is Mr. Fuddrucker.
Say Fuddrucker to my face.
Yeah.
Well, there was like an unlimited buffet of like you had to buy the burger and there was like unlimited toppings. So like one of us would get a burger and then basically we got like 4 salads that was iceberg lettuce, tomatoes, and onions basically.
We had China buffet.
Easy. We're not. Ooh.
Sorry, I went
Tread
there.
lightly.
I
Tread
went
lightly.
there.
All the Asians you can eat?
That's where I used to work.
My father was a Chinese buffet.
My father's father was a Chinese buffet.
We had China buffet.
That's what they call Pan-Asian food in Australia. Fuddrucking.
That sounds so awful.
Hey, you're the one that went fuddrucking all through your youth.
Like full Fuddrucker. Fuddrucker Park. Mecca of basketball. Look, you can play on this court someday, kid, but you got to hit the all-you-can-eat buffet first.
Darius Fuddrucker.
Put down a whole pizza, and you can enter the Mecca. Fuddruckers, Ponderosa, a disgusting chain that...
I don't know what that is. Is that some Rochester shit?
No, Ponderosa National.
Oh, really? What was it?
It's like American food, like breaded chicken wings, mashed... Every day is Thanksgiving at Ponderosa.
That broccoli with American cheese melted on it and shit.
Just all that kind of shit. Ponderosa, that was gross. Pizza Hut, all-you-can-eat lunch special.
That was exciting.
Yeah, that's a weird variety of pizza.
Remember they used to have that like pasta station at Pizza Hut for like a hot second? Mm-hmm. Sort of like Sbarro's. When Sbarro's was coming up, they're like, oh, we got to get our pasta on. But it wasn't, we just wanted that pizza.
The other weird thing was that they had the dessert pizzas at Pizza Hut that were like with cinnamon and sugar and frosting. It's kind of amazing. It's like, so you've had all the pizza you can eat, and it's like, and would you like a dessert pizza with that? And apparently some people
Dessert
did.
pizzas are fucking disgusting.
Yeah, never good. Never good.
I had one once. It was chocolate and mascarpone on pizza.
That's pretty lavish.
It was lavish, but you know,
Can we talk about the
sometimes the life
misuses?
lived lavish is not the best life.
Misuses
lived.
of Nutella, just like smearing Nutella on like pizza bread.
That's essentially what this was.
I've been thinking about becoming like a Havla guy, but is that from like a few years ago?
You late on the Havla thing?
Is it too late to become like a Havla guy?
Are you worried about that at your age? Like that you're coming at things late?
Yeah, I just like if I'm going to be a Havla guy, like, Ben, the guy who's into Havla. I feel like that was maybe 2015.
I don't know. What are those little fucking drinks that everyone's serving now? Like, not Bitburger. You know, those little, like, those tiny little bottles of booze that people drink? It's meant to be good for your chest or something.
What are you talking about?
I guess I don't know.
It sounds interesting though.
They're tiny
like a bar
little...
thing?
Yeah.
Do you get
They're
it?
tiny little German bottles.
Is this a Chez Matant thing?
No,
Shout
no,
out to
no.
the best restaurant in New York.
No, I don't know. I don't know where that... I see them a lot. Huh. I think they have them with the fish.
Is it?
It's like a little shot. Those tiny little fucking bottles.
There's like a little case near the register.
Yeah.
Not the ones that winos drink.
Not like the airplane bottles, right?
No, they're these tiny little... God damn it, I wish we had a hotline.
I wish we can Google this.
Google tiny little fucking bottles of booze, please.
Tiny-
Great radio.
You guys do
typing,
something while I'm doing this. Tiny
Google.
little bottles of booze.
Remember when Red Stripe was out?
They're called minis.
Oh, that was great.
No, that's just the little things
No,
that.
it's the brand name. Anyway, we'll get back to this
Next week.
Next week.
Tune in next week.
So I was over.
Tiny little fucking bottles, too.
I was over by the
More
post.
tiny bottles. Tinier
Here's
bottles.
a question though. I was over by the post office,
I got fuddrucked on those tiny bottles.
You really fuddrucked me on that one.
and there was those little empty bottles were everywhere over there by the post office. It's like smashed, like empty, just tossed everywhere. Is there like a couple, say, vagrants that are like just dumping their stuff there, or is there like a post office thing where the mailmen are drinking tons and tons of minis? Because they were everywhere. They were all over the ground, smashed, thrown everywhere. Like I've never seen like that many little minis. It's got to be a mailman thing.
There is no doubt.
Or
It's
it was like a
annoying.
mailman who drinks him on the job and he just like swept him out of the cab of his truck. He's been like hammered all day, just banging into Zerbo's
I'm saying
car.
there were hundreds of them though. They were like all over the place.
Huh? What flavor?
I don't know. I mean, they were everything, like little Jack Daniels,
Oh,
little
potpourri.
doers,
A little buffet of minis.
a little Bombay.
Oh, interesting.
So, in other news,
That was a killer segue.
Kuo, you might want to pick up more drinking because you're getting torched on the internet.
Why? Who's being mean to you?
Well, the Kuo big board has come under a lot of heat, and if you're a frequent listener, that's
That's
known as the KBB.
Otherwise known as the KBB.
and it's your scouting report for all the players that are coming into the NBA based on your analysis of their college game, their stats, their mental state, their physicality,
Vibes,
their
vibes,
metrics,
all.
etc. And why are you getting savaged on the internet right now? Can you just tell us what's going on with you, man?
One troll came after my Trae Young takes because Trae Young had a big game last night.
Yeah. What
Huge
was
game.
it? 35, 7, and 8 or something cool?
Nasty. Just
5 steals?
Nasty.
I'm just making most of those up, but
Yeah.
They're accurate.
it's close.
And I doubted Trae Young in the draft. He was not on the KBB.
Wait. The KBB lists how many players?
14.
So Trae Young, who was drafted 4th or 5th this year.
It's
Fifth,
confusing,
I believe.
right? Yeah, 5th and
because of the
swap for
trade.
3.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
He is not on the KBB from
I left him
2019,
out.
2018.
Did you leave him out because of his tiny little fucking arms?
Or his like weird hair that someone online had described as a lollipop that fell on the ground.
It is the most accurate description of anything I've heard.
I forget who it was. I'm not trying to avoid giving credit where it was due.
Let's not pretend we haven't
good.
washed off that lollipop and just like resumed our lives.
Is that what's happening with you and Trae Young right now? Are you washing off that lollipop?
Trae Young is still having a bad season, but he's much better than I thought he was going to be, which is exciting. If there's anything to be wrong about, this is the thing to be wrong about. It's like, oh, a player I thought that wasn't going to be good ends up being super fun.
I mean, he's averaging
Amazing.
18 and 8
Which
as a 20-year-old rookie.
which is great.
He shot poorly from 3 early on, but he's up to 33%, which is obviously not great, but it was at 25%.
And damaged by his early struggles, right? Like the aggregate is. We have to take into account that he had a slow start. A better passer than we thought.
Excellent passer.
Yes, a really wonderful passer.
But he was getting passing props in college. He just didn't really.
Totally. We weren't sure how it was going to translate because he was so small. Still getting torched on defense. Not the most efficient player in the world. Has a negative BPM. Like the advanced stats, like don't really favor him.
Let me give you some box scores,
Let's
Mr.
do this.
Numbers. 36 and 10 last game. 36 and 8. 23 and 8. 30 and 10. 16 and 11. 22 and 14. 13 and 7. 20 and 11.
That's a lot of offense right
That's a
there.
lot of offense,
Andrew
Kuo. It's a lot of offense.
Negative 2.5 BPM. Terrible defender. Players go right by him. He takes a ton of shots, but he's good.
Sounds like someone's
Sticking to the take.
despite getting Fuddrucked on the internet, you are sticking with the KBB.
I heard you know this one person who came at me.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. I think
Is he?
How big is he? Could I take him?
Oh, yeah.
Because no one fucks with Kuo's
Thank
big
you.
board.
Thank you.
Peter,
I'm actually
watch your back.
I'm actually
Jordan's. I'm looking at his face, and it's the face.
I'm actually a little shocked that you didn't do anything about it right then and there.
I didn't know about it until right now.
Oh,
That's
I
right.
didn't know he'd been getting aggressive with you on Twitter.
There's always like
this is on Twitter.
yeah, it's stupid. But there's always someone who gets like
I'm about to get on Twitter.
Look, he's a nice guy. He also told me IRL that he thought Carmelo was better than Harden. So, like, if you need some ammunition, there you go.
well, he was like, I don't know. So there's always one person who gets mad about something. And I have a rule on Twitter. It's just like, we don't get mad about stuff and we don't get mad about basketball. It's just hoops. So takes are hilarious and you throw them out there and people are like, you were so wrong about Marvin Bagley. I'm like, yeah, it's cool. He's kind of fun and awesome. Like, that's a good thing, right?
The worst thing is to criticize someone and then be like, want them to be bad in order for your opinion to be right. It's like,
Yeah, no.
it's like, look, I thought Okafor was terrible. If he can resurrect his career and be good, I'm like, that's sick. I want Okafor to have a career, not like prove me right that I
Yeah.
thought he was a dinosaur, a stegosaurus
Yeah.
of sorts.
And that's the bummer of like that way you do that on Twitter, because I'd be like, I don't know about Trae Young, and the next tweet would be like, but it would be awesome if he's awesome. But all you see is like, I don't know about Trae Young.
So
That draft is amazing though.
the lollipop is on the ground. Are you picking it up now or not?
More so, I'm considering washing it off and chilling.
When are you gonna lick it?
Not yet. Not
Jordan,
yet.
are you licking the Trae Young lollipop?
Fuck no.
It's
I'm just I might be in on him being a good player, but I'm never gonna say I'm gonna lick his lollipop head. Ever. I won't do it.
that's a lollipop ass head.
Yeah.
He's
Lick the lolly.
he's a fun player.
You
man.
licked the lolly.
No,
What flavor is what flavor is it?
the Trae Young lolly?
Yeah.
Quo?
Root beer, dum root beer flavor, the best.
Oh fuck it, I'll lick it.
That's the best.
Okay, we're
that's
all
the
in.
best one.
Send the Trae Young lollies.
Do you wash it off with warm water or cold water?
Warm, because cold. Warm.
Warm.
Cold seems like it would kind of make it congeal more, or would warm make it congeal more?
This is what I'm worried about.
Warm.
What if warm actually just bakes the hair into the lollipop?
If Atlanta gets someone good with Dallas's pick, can they somehow win this trade that Quo on this very show declared the worst draft day trade in
of
history?
all time.
Now we know why you're so hesitant to lick the lolly.
I still think it is. Luka Doncic is good, man. He is exactly who we thought he was. Even better, maybe, right off the bat.
These are the kind of takes that get you put in the sin bin.
What, you guys don't like Luka Doncic?
I love
now?
him. I bet he eats a pizza before he goes out on the floor as well.
Some nachos.
Fuck yeah, he's at the Commodore right now, lined up, waiting for 4 o'clock to come around. So
Come on.
I'll take 2 and another to go.
And a couple pork boats for the road.
So, dudes, I've been on a plant-based diet for a week. It feels weird. I just decided to do it.
How do you feel differently?
I can't tell yet. I was running out of energy. My wife has been like researching plant-based diets, and we decided to give it a go. And it's kind of fun to like have a whole new way to like shop and eat. Not much eating out anymore, but
How is a plant-based diet different or the same from being vegan? Is it just a different word?
it's kind of a different word. To me, it's just like not as hokey as saying you're vegan.
Not as
Hokai. Holler at us, Hoka. One.
All right, so it is basically you're vegan now.
No, not totally, but on considering it. What do you guys think?
I think you're going to be really cranky.
I agree. I'm already cranky, which is bad. I'm hoping this makes me less cranky.
Jordan's the crankiest cookie, so we're gonna have multiple cranky cookies.
What do you call it? Waldorf and
Waldorf and Stedler.
Yeah, that's what you're gonna be co-hosting with Waldorf and Stedler. Trae Young is actually good. You were wrong. You were wrong about that idea.
Should we have a cartoon? We seem to be into cartoons and voices. Should we just have a Cookies cartoon where we voice all the characters? We could be like, what's that show?
Yank Crankers.
Yeah, something like that. Or what's on the King of the Hill? I don't really watch
I think
cartoons.
more like Hanna-Barbera. Or is it Barbera?
Barbera.
Yeah, let's take it back there. Like Huckleberry Hound.
Those are good.
Flintstones and shit.
Yeah. Jetsons.
Do your
Jetsons
do your
were great.
do your awooga thing.
Awooga.
See,
I do that when I'm running in place and not going anywhere.
like is that like when you're running in place in your hokas? When they propel you forward like the Roadrunner?
Yeah, when I almost die in a train station because I wasn't accustomed to the Hoka leading effect.
Oh, it's that rocking technology.
Speaking of being cranky,
That's also
Wait.
steam comes out of my ears is also the same sound.
But back to the draft.
okay,
Back to some hoops.
yes.
Mitchell Robinson, what is going on? The God, he is amazing.
We went really fast from plant-based diet to Mitchell Robinson, and I think that's because you're not getting enough protein.
Is that what you guys tell me? If I have like
He's
a weird
kinda fired up,
personality
isn't he?
change,
Who? What?
Quo's kind of fired up today.
Mitchell Robinson is awesome.
Yeah, 4 blocks in 30 seconds, baby.
Oh, he's so good, and it's so funny, right? Because like he fell because people thought he didn't like to play basketball because he sat his college year. Turns out he really likes to play
So
basketball.
a little background on Mitchell Robinson. He's a rookie for the Knicks, a guy who can jump out of the building, great athlete.
Long.
He was drafted in the second round. I want to say like 7th or 8th into the second round. Like not
Even
at the end of
later,
it,
yeah.
but a legitimate second round pick who has had a lot of trouble staying on the court because he plays behind the legend Luke Cornett, and also
The Green
because
Cornet.
he fouls constantly.
Big problems with that early on.
But he's always put up incredible numbers in terms of blocks. He'd be leading the NBA in
Per 36 is
in
laughable.
blocks if he was actually able to stay on the floor. He rebounds. He's efficient. His true shooting percentage is something like 670 or something comical like that.
It's crazy.
But he's starting to put together some like not only games of pretty outstanding numbers, but also winning games, which is not convenient for the Knicks, but also promising.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fully into this tank train thing. But when he won the other night, just based off of his amazing play, you just kind of got to let it happen. The Knicks tried to tank, and I do think you can tank within a game, but they put out a really bad team with like Ellison, who ended up going off, and they gave him a contract based off that one game. But he looked nice. Mitchell Robinson and Ellison just kind of won that game, and you just have to ride with it, right? At this point, I mean, I want to talk about Mitchell Robinson more, but I wouldn't be mad if they sat him. I think they know what he is. I know. I'm annoying. I'm annoying that
You're
way.
so unethical.
I'm very unethical.
For me, as someone who paid attention to the tanking Sixers who are also playing young guys, I was very comfortable with if guys look good and play well, who are part of the future of the team or potential future, and you happen to win that night, that's great.
Yeah.
So if Mitchell Robinson has 7 blocks and puts up 20 and 12,
Yeah.
and they win the game because of his performance, like clap your hands and like great.
But once that happened the other night, and it felt like we weren't expecting that, and it was wonderful to see. I think moving forward, like the game is the draft. So if he starts taking over, Fizz got to yank him. Fizz got to yank him.
Unethical.
You're out of the
What,
game.
are you
Unethical.
expecting some like Jeremy Lin type end to the season run from Mitchell bloody Robinson?
Oh my God, his lines are amazing. He's really fun. He's got all the advanced numbers, like put him clearly ahead of every rookie in this class. And he's not. He's not as good as Luka Doncic. He's not as good. I don't know, man. He looks awesome. And he's staying out of foul trouble a little bit. And he's just like a terror at the rim, offensively and defensively. Doesn't shoot threes, so he is ethical there.
No, he is completely ethical.
I'm unethical.
You're the unethical
Sit
one
him.
here, just
Yank
to be
him.
clear.
As soon as he starts balling and the game becomes kind of a coin flip, yank him. He's too good.
His per 36 numbers are not astounding or anything like that. They are like 13 points, 10 boards. Like he's solid.
How many blocks?
But it's like 4.5 blocks,
That's
which
what I
would
mean,
which
man.
would lead the league. Also a steal and a half, which is great for a center. But like if you're talking about BPM stats, his is 6.7, which is buoyed by those crazy block numbers.
Ooh, say buoyed again. I like
Buoyed.
Bowie. Shout out to Noah.
But 6.7 is like superstar.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean he is because he's a role player, but like
Exactly.
his contributions in his minutes are like, yeah, he's kind of a superstar.
Like, I thought Jared Allen was going to be the most fun New York player with respects to Crooks. I think Mitchell Robinson's like taking over. It's super fun. He's like, yes, he's not the best player in the draft. He's not the best player on the court. But at the 2 or 3 things he does them in such a fun way. Like, he's just like a magnetic player. I'm into him.
Would you buy a jersey?
I was going to buy one, but I don't like
Do they have jerseys for Mitchell Robinson at the
they have
Garden?
T-shirts. I'm torn on jerseys, man. Do grown men wear jerseys?
Only if they also go to music festivals.
Only Walt Frazier jerseys, the
best look of all time.
official jersey of adulting.
Like, if I rolled into Cookies in July rocking a Mitchell Robinson jersey, shirt underneath, cargo shorts, and Hokas, would you guys be like, well done? Or would you be
I'd be like, well done, but I think you got to get an extra big size and wear it over a hoodie.
That's a good look.
What about the sort of jersey, if you will, the shirt with just like a long sleeve with Robinson name and number on the back versus like the authentic?
I think that's too half-stepping. You got to go all the way or not.
I think they have to bring back the NBA jersey dresses.
Hell yeah.
Yes,
I would love to see you in one of those, Andrew.
I'd do it.
Oh, those dresses were so fucking hot.
So just
Like, mainly because Aaliyah wore them, but whatever.
yeah, but they worked.
They worked.
It was a good article.
Yes.
Last point about Mitchell Robinson, before you give more points about Mitchell Robinson, just PIPM is another advanced metric. Just for some background on where Mitchell Robinson lies, he is currently 9th in the league in their defensive PIPM metric between Joel Embiid and Paul George. So that's the company that he is keeping on the defensive side of the ball.
Every time you say PIPM, I just get that 50 cent
I know.
song in my head.
I
It's
almost
really
said
weird.
I almost said PIMP. I absolutely almost said that.
Den of Thieves, man. Watchable. It's a little bit watchable.
The God 50. Oh, man, I've seen that 3 times. It's amazing.
But okay, so this got me excited because I think the Knicks might be farther along their rebuild than the Boston Celtics.
Why do you think that?
Because Mitchell Robinson is a legit find, and they're looking at a top 5 pick, and there's 4 tasty players on the KBB. Everyone else is Jeremy
The
Lamb.
KBB is in tatters right now. It's a
coming back,
Twitter
baby.
troll has reduced the KBB to smithereens.
Wait, so
coming
does that
back.
mean that Kyrie Irving is going to derail the Knicks rebuild as well?
Well, see,
Is he rebuild cancer?
Wait a minute, we didn't even think about that. The Knicks
no.
rebuild is being jeopardized by Kyrie.
I don't want. Kyrie's an awesome player. Like, so this is a whole.
He's on the ropes.
Yeah.
So Celtics fans who blame their best player is like a move, right? Like Sixers fans who blame Ben Simmons, or Knicks fans who blame Carmelo Anthony. It's just a move. Like,
I thought you said their best player.
oh, nice. Oh, smoke.
You don't want that smoke.
Yeah. Or Lakers fans who kind of really want to turn on LeBron, but have to like hedge a little bit because he might.
They want to turn on LeBron
so bad.
Like, Kobe wouldn't have missed the playoffs.
I know, you can sense the tension.
Oh, no, it's really incredible.
Yeah.
It's a great war between people who are rooting for the Lakers because they like LeBron, but it's also funny that the Lakers are losing, and people who want to turn on LeBron but also want the Lakers to make the playoffs.
Yeah,
It's really great
It's
dynamic.
great. It's like, oh, we have to be patient. They might get the 8th seed.
Kobe?
Like
Kobe would get there.
all those fake Hollywood smiles.
That's right.
Kobe
They're
would
good
miss
at
the
it. It's like
playoffs.
every Lakers fan looks like Glenn Close at the Oscars when she lost.
Kobe would never miss the playoffs except for the year that he missed the playoffs.
Also, shout out to Samuel L. Jackson who mouthed the words "motherfucker" when he lost for Pulp Fiction all those years ago.
That was cool.
It was like my favorite Oscar moment ever.
Yo, and Spike Lee weirdly likable on Oscar night. Like, his Knicks takes drive me nuts, but I'm post being angry at any takes, and he was kind of funny that night.
Here's a question for you guys as
so serious.
as real experts on Oscars, which I'm not. I
Meaning we
defer to
watched
you.
it.
Yeah. If you go back like 20 years, do people do this same studied hyperventilating oratory every time they win an award, like 20 years ago, or is it a modern construct where you go up and be like, oh my God, oh wow, I haven't practiced this 100 times in front of a mirror or anything.
It's a mixed
But,
bag.
Yeah,
Like, was this always
it's
gone on?
definitely got worse. I think because people now understand the viral nature of their speeches, and that you used to have to watch like 3 hours of something to see the speech. Now you can watch it clipped into a 2-minute video, and so people are a lot more self-aware of how, it's like, oh, do I want to do
There's a handful of moves.
the sincere and studied one? Do I want to do the like, I can't believe this is me, like Lady Gaga, so full of shit move?
You like me, you really like me.
Right, I'm
Sally
like, Lady,
Field.
exactly.
Like,
Lady Gaga
Olivia
was-
Colman, like, shout out, she's a fucking genius, but she's also like a genius comedian.
She was
so
great.
when she,
Like, this is never going to happen again. That was such a great line.
It was like she definitely wrote that speech. She wrote all of those ad libs in,
Yeah.
like
Because she's a comedian.
She's a comedian. She practiced it a million times. Still, it was funny, but like they're all very disingenuous.
But I saw the Lady Gaga one, and it was like, you performed on stages in front of, you were the biggest pop star in the world. That you're up there like, wow, to be up here in front of you Hollywood celebrities. Wow, what a moment. It's like Lady Gaga is bigger than all of you.
And why are you crying? You knew you were going to win this shit from the get. Like, oh, whatever.
Well, today she was asked about, like, are you and Bradley Cooper actually dating? She's like, no, we're actors. We're doing something.
He's an actor. You're a pop singer.
Are you buying in the gossip that their relationship on screen and because of the fans is ruining their real relationships because everyone assumes that they're romantically involved?
No. So Bradley Cooper is married and baby daddy to Arena Shake. Shake Shack? I don't fucking know.
She's really nice. I interviewed her once. She was very,
is?
very nice and funny. She was not just sort of like a trophy model. I mean, she is a trophy model. Like, she's beautiful and all that. But really, like, funny and nice. Liked her.
Yeah, but she's funny and nice for a beard, or...
Oh.
I'm saying someone that you could say, like, be, quote, married to.
Yeah. I don't know.
Sounds like you're trying to imply something about
about
Arena Shack.
Well, maybe I was trying to imply something about Coops. Maybe it's a little bit of wishful thinking on my part.
Saw that image of you singing with him, looking proudly at you from the back.
I mean, he's been supporting me in my career for a while now. He's encouraged me to get back on the horse and start writing inconsequential noise rock again.
Well, is this it? Are we now announcing that Jordan's band, Coconuts, is coming back?
Well, it's a bit premature. You've kind of put me on the spot here, Ben. But,
As he unfolds a piece of paper.
but yes.
I'd like to thank Kuo.
Yes. Oh God,
Mitchell Robinson.
I didn't prepare this. Like, I was so shocked.
You guys really like Coconuts. You really like Coconuts.
Yeah.
Is your band coming back?
Yes, it's back. Well, it's not
Yes.
back. Well, my partner is coming back in one day, so
It's tight.
we'll probably start working on shit like a week after that.
What is the difference between Coconuts and Bogan Dust?
Different band members, different instruments, different songs and music.
But kind of like the same sound, right?
No, one was like a Hendrixy fucking
Can you give us
psych rock
and
thing, and the other one's just oxycontined out drugs.
When were these bands in existence? These were both in Australia, or
No, they're
here?
both here. They're both New York.
So
bands.
there's Bogan Dust and Coconuts.
Yes,
When is it too late to start a band in your life?
never.
That's a good answer.
Were there other candidates for band names that rhymed with those?
There was what was another one? One was called Grapes.
No, I mean like Coconuts, Bogan Dust,
No,
Loco Thrust,
I don't know. You keep going. You've got all this alliteration down.
Locust Crust.
Cookie Puss.
You gotta rhyme all the syllables.
I don't know. Anyway, let's get off that.
So Kyrie Irving comes to New York. I think you sign a 26-year-old perennial all-star every time, no matter what. And he's a mercurial, weird, grouchy millennial. Celtics fans who think that they're going to be a better team without him, that's just wild. He is so good this year. You have to sign him, even though he changes the dynamic. So my question to you guys is like, are there actually superstars? Let's say, like, when I say superstars, like NBA first team or second team, that are like bad to play with to a degree where you wouldn't sign them at age 26.
If we're talking about the guys who are like currently,
Yeah, is like Kevin Durant a cancer?
no, I think that the only way a team gets derailed is because of a lack of talent. That's just my general philosophy on any kind of team building. It doesn't even matter the sport. It's like no team ever went to the finals and was like,
Styles makes fights, right?
and was like,
you
well,
have to have the players in order to play.
we were
So-
bad, but we won a championship because we all got along. I mean, you can find
Yeah,
a
there's
team,
no such thing as culture or winning or losing.
I mean,
culture.
you can find a team like that, like say the Mavericks who beat the Heat, and you can look at that roster and say, hey, maybe they overachieved. That's not a championship team. Dirk, Tyson, Jason Kidd, like they were good, but that's not a title-winning team that really fit well, and the guys had a system and they were dedicated to it, etc. But in general, like 99 times out of 100, the team that wins is the one that has the most good players.
Exactly. And like I feel like the oddest team that won was LeBron with J.R. Smith, that squad with Tristan Thompson and Kevin Love, I'm like, LeBron was that good. And he got lucky, like that Warrior series was kind of a coin flip. But like, what part of a fan thinks that the best player is the problem? Is it like a zigging kind of thing?
It's always been really strange because it happened in New York, as you were saying, with Melo all the time. When people were like, he's dragging us down. We got to get rid of Melo. It's like, it's true. Melo is not good enough to win a championship on his back.
Right.
That's also not the problem. The problem is you don't have the guy who's better than Melo to play aside him. And like the Sixers, people are like, and the problem here is Simmons. It's like, no, the problem here is the bad players.
Right.
The problem with your team is always the bad players.
Yeah, totally.
The guys
it's not
who
the
aren't
coach, it's
good
the bad players.
are the issues. That's if you get rid of those bad players and replace them with good ones, your team will almost inevitably improve.
Yeah.
So I think if you're the Knicks and Kyrie and Durant, it doesn't matter how millennial and weird they are. Of course, you're like,
yes.
fuck yes, sign up for as long as you will stay here. And they're both young. I mean, that would be incredible. But it also applies to most of these guys who are free agents. If Kemba Walker says, hey, actually, I'll play here and sign a deal, you're like, done. Cool.
Right. Klay Thompson, Kawhi Leonard. Like before Kawhi started rolling with Toronto, everyone's like, do we want anything to do with some weird guy who quit on his team? Like, yes, you want everything to do with Kawhi Leonard,
And he's been kind of transformational for Toronto. The whole perception that the Raptors were always going to crumble. Yeah. People aren't really saying that anymore.
Yeah, no.
People are like, but you know how the Raptors are. Like, well, they have Kawhi, though.
Keep superstars, sign superstars, try to get superstars, everything. Like, Durant, the Warriors fans should be dying to keep Kevin Durant. Like, these guys are the hardest things to...
Yeah, that's the wild thing about Golden State, though. Their fans are already sort of circling the wagons on like fuck Kevin Durant, man. No. Like, he's out. We don't need him anyway.
Kevin Durant.
Yeah, they're singing little beat jams. The curse will come back.
Fuck Kevin Durant.
Boogie's just as good.
That's a little preview of what Jordan's brands are going to be. Or brands.
Both.
Bands and brands.
Basketball songs only.
We like that.
But it's like, Golden State's like, we don't need him anyway. We'll win. You're like, guess what? You won't.
Yeah, no.
You're not going to win another championship with Kyrie. I'm sorry, with Curry and Klay and Draymond. You're not winning a championship if Durant leaves. It's not happening.
I mean, they're beatable with Durant. I mean, we saw that in the Western Conference Finals last year. And, I think there's 2 or 3 teams that can take them this year. I mean, the chances are the Warriors are going to win, but it's not a gimme at all.
I think we've also seen over the last couple of years, spurred by the sort of coagulation of talent in Golden State, is that we're seeing more teams have a lot of talent. It's not dispersed around the league. And you look and you see a few teams that are just absolutely horrific, and they're terrible, and they lose almost every night. And then a lot of teams that are kind of good and have a bunch of talent.
Milwaukee's fully formed. They're ready to roll right now.
Toronto, Milwaukee, however happens with Boston, whatever. But Philly, Denver.
Denver's nasty.
Houston, OKC. They are teams with legitimately multiple stars who are good teams.
Those are all good teams that can beat the Warriors.
That if you get rid of Durant, like that, there's no shoe-in against any of those guys.
They should trying their hardest, and Nike should be talking to them, and everyone should be trying to in Golden State to try to keep him there. Writing him off just because he's grouchy is ridiculous,
Well, we didn't do that with you.
Yeah, that's true.
Am I the grouchiest cookie now? Tell me if I'm getting grouchy.
We'll see. Don't talk to me like that.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Wow, I haven't seen this side of you, Andrew.
Oh, interesting.
Do you want to be... Can I give you something to be grouchy about?
Yeah.
Why the fuck is everyone shaming Dirk into retiring? It's so mean. It's one of the meanest things I've seen in the NBA. They're basically pushing Dirk out the door.
It's funny because today he was like, I might want to play another season. And everyone's like, whoa, the Doc Rivers thing happened.
And here's a jersey, and everyone's giving you standing ovations, and you can't run at all. Even Adam Silver's making jokes about it.
Right. He saw him running down. He's like, we got to make him an all-star out of pity.
He's 2 years younger than Vince Carter.
Like, whatever, just let him do his thing.
Is it because people
He's not
have
taking any money away from the team.
Do people realize their internal hatred for Dwayne Wade so much that they want to like heap all this praise onto Dirk Nowitzki, who's like a super nice guy apparently, but
He has not announced his retirement. This is Wade's farewell tour. Dirk is getting one anyway. I don't know. I just don't. Why would you make Dirk retire in this manner?
are they just like
He's got to retire, though. Like, he's awful. He's so bad. And he's only played 370 minutes this year. He kind of retired. Like, Dirk's not even playing.
But does he deserve a roster spot like with all these young guys? Do you just keep him around?
Yes,
Do you
fuck
take up a
yes.
bench spot with him. I mean, bench spots are valuable, but having Dirk on to chill with
What about giving
Porzingis?
Dirk a two-way deal?
That'd be amazing. That'd be amazing.
I
mean,
think
Dirk is fun,
you
man.
you burn a roster spot on having Dirk there
Winning
in
culture.
in uniform with Porzingis and Doncic. I think it would be absolutely invaluable for him to be on the floor in practice, not standing around with a dumb suit and a clipboard.
And chemistry is real, and from all indications, Dirk is like the coolest guy to hang out with.
He seems like someone who will probably have a role with Dallas going forward for a very long time, whether it's
Does
on
he
the
also-
coaching staff or like a representative of the team or in
100%.
management, just something. So it's probably more like, when do you want to, like, as Jordan said, when do you just want to change the uniform for like a mock turtleneck? When are you going to make this transition?
He's a lifer. but-
Does Cuban give him a piece of the franchise?
Well,
Does he deserve a piece? Does he deserve a percentage?
I don't think so.
deserve, like, ethically, sure, but like I also don't think Cuban's like, yeah, here's a bunch of.
That's not really how that stuff works, right?
Why not? Why?
Well-
Just because? Because why?
Well, it's Cuban's prerogative, so he can do whatever he wants. But if you're like an outstanding employee of a company, like you don't deserve a cut of that company. It would be nice if you did get it, but I don't see that as a necessity.
I think you could also make an argument that Dirk took a lot less money a couple years of his career, and I'm looking.
much
I'm
less.
looking where he was making like that max, like 16, 18, 19, 17, 19, 20, 22, and then late in his career he took 8 and 8 in between 2014 and 2016. Then made 25 last year, which they were clearly just making up for stuff. But I could see an argument being like, I gave this franchise X amount
It
of
would be
value,
awesome.
so despite the regular like compensation I've gotten, the valuation of the Mavericks as a whole has been largely because of Dirk Nowitzki over the past 20
Got
years.
the only chip.
And sure, here's 3% of the franchise.
That Donahue
3%
stuff
is a lot, Ben. I was thinking more like 0.5%. But
like Jay-Z numbers, like 1/10 of
equity.
1%.
yeah, like sweat equity. Well, so it reminds me of this story that I heard, which is a true story. That GoPro, the camera people, years into their development, there was a dude that had been testing a lot of their products and helping them with development. And they'd never really compensated him properly for his time. And so instead of avoiding potentially like him laying claim to part of their earnings later on, they just gifted him $300 million.
Wow, that was at the height of GoPro, probably.
Yeah, and then they plummeted.
because it's such a weird product to go public with.
But isn't
right?
that kind of cool? Like, you know what? You did help us get to this place. I'm sure it was like on lawyers' advice that like just pay him a lot of money now to make it to avoid anything in the future. But what if Cubes was just like, Dirk, you're going to be part owner of this franchise with me because we built it together. I think Mark
he's
Cuban,
certainly gonna be asked.
if you're listening, which you most certainly are, fuck you, pay Dirk.
No, people are going to ask him about it for sure. I mean, it's not outlandish at all. But
More than
part
any- more
ownership
than-
is a big deal.
I just want to see like pictures of Dirk with like piles of money in his mouth, like a bowl, like when 50 Cent was eating all that money.
Dirk calling back to Germany on his money phone.
Oh fuck yeah, money phones.
But it's interesting with the comparisons between Dirk and Wade. They're two guys who are almost single-handedly, I guess, credited as being the individuals who built two franchises. And obviously the Heat have had other good players. They've had Shaq, they've had LeBron, they've had Chris Bosh, etc. But Dwayne is their guy. He was the one who is the face of Miami. And Dirk, for sure, Dallas, him, Eric Dampier.
Respect to Rafe LaFrance.
But there aren't too many guys who kind of have those roles.
Who didn't quit on their teams like Michael Jordan? Go on.
Oh,
I mean, like current guys, like because now there's so much player movement. I mean, who like Giannis, Westbrook? You know, there's guys.
But I don't really care about that stuff. Do you care about that stuff?
No, I don't care about loyalty
cool
to
what
a
they did.
team.
I love those two
I'm
players.
just saying, like, there's no way that anyone on the current Lakers will be like the face of that franchise overall. They're just not on that level.
Well,
the Sixers,
right,
you've got
they're not
Moses
good
Malone and Barkley and Iverson. No matter what Embiid does, it's unlikely that he
Oh,
will ever be higher than
jeez,
them.
are you really trying to squeeze a fucking Sixers
Well,
thing
you,
in here?
you hold your horses.
Wait, I'm not. Well,
Kuo was the grouchy one. I'm saying Giannis could surpass easily, probably has, anyone in the Milwaukee history to be their guy. That's kind of what I'm talking about.
Ray Allen,
Current players who would be like the face of their franchise
Big
for
Dog
eternity
Robinson.
from like day ones.
Who cares about that stuff?
I mean, I'm just saying.
well, speaking of German legends, I found out what those little fucking bottles of liquor are. Underberg is a herb bitters taken for digestion, not for a beverage. Not to be sipped, but taken all at once and quickly because of its aromatic and strong taste. It is also used as flavoring, and it's alcoholic.
I like those those bitter shots.
Do you think
Is it an aperitif or a digestif?
it's a digestif? Do you think that when Dirk opens the door of his whip, like hundreds of little bottles fall out, like at the post
He
office?
just kicks them out of
He's
the
just
way.
got tiny little bottles of Underberg everywhere.
He's like,
No,
oh,
but
my
it happens,
stomach is
it
so
happens
settled.
to Karl Malone.
The mailman.
Oh, now I get it.
Got him.
Do you think Dwayne Wade is overestimating the love he thinks the league has for him?
Yes. I mean, he doesn't notice that nobody even thinks about him when thinking of the greatest shooting guards of all time, even though he kind of is.
He's not like, oh, Michael Jordan, Kobe, and me. It's just like, we have to deal with the pressures of being those kind of guys.
Is it because he went and played in Chicago and Cleveland a little bit? If he had stayed in Miami this whole time, even though it was just a couple years,
Oh, yeah, he played in Chicago. I forgot
if he had
about
just stayed in Miami
Cleveland,
and not
Jesus.
gone back, would we be more reverent of him as this legend? Like, did he actually kind of sully his legacy with some mild ring chasing?
I don't think we care about that, right? Like, I don't think fans, I don't know, speaking for myself, that's fine. Like, we understood, they kind of kicked him out of Miami and he went to Chicago. But I think in 2019, we all understand the business aspect of how player movement works. It's just his disposition, right? Like, he takes notes from LeBron, who takes notes from the sociopath model of Michael Jordan, where it's just like, I'm just a fierce competitor, and that's not funny. Tiger Woods stuff, And Dirk was never that guy. I mean, he was deadly serious, and like, I'll always remember when he won the championship, like his immediate reaction. And there was like
Running off court?
running off court, and they had to talk him out of the locker room because he was like so overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And he didn't want to go back out.
See, now that's what somebody should do at the Oscars when they win. Just run out
That's
of
right,
run
that's
out of
right.
the fucking room and cry in the corner.
Yeah.
Isn't that what Spike Lee did?
No, he
When
tried
he
to run
lost.
out because Green Book won.
I know.
I would have done that too.
But like, Dirk is a far more interesting person than you would seem on the surface. And when all these details about that moment came out recently, I think in a book, it was fascinating, right? Because this guy was more complicated than we thought. And so far with the Dwayne Wade narrative, like, he was great. He was kind of unstoppable. The Donaghy thing is interesting.
And you can just go and find the photos of Dirk wearing like kente cloth and like dashikis and Africa, and you're like, wait, I thought I knew this guy.
Yeah, totally.
What is this other side of Dirk?
Yeah.
Back in the motherland.
His friendship with
It's not
Nash
the
is like
fatherland.
the coolest thing.
Oh.
But Where was I going with this? I don't know. I mean, you lost me at
radio.
the Shiki. You lost me at the Shiki.
Where was I going with this? Let's just give up.
But Dwayne Wade was never likable.
Never.
Dirk was likable always. Dwayne wasn't.
I remember where I was going with it. Yeah, to that point, the Donaghy thing that just came out, like he threw that Mavs Heat finals. And I believe that's the finals where Wade went to the line inexplicably over and over and over. And that kind of like...
I read the article. Was that part of it? I don't know if that was. Was he actually reffing even that finals?
This is hazy, but I think it was like 2-0 Mavs, and he got orders to bring the Heat back into the series. And if you go back and look at the foul shooting numbers, like Wade just like jumped from... He doubled his foul shot attempts.
So Donaghy said that the NBA would come in order to extend a series. And this is a Donaghy quote that he said on a podcast 2 years ago. And he was saying that Dallas got screwed out of a championship in that situation because the NBA started to manipulate the series to make sure it was extended and Dallas could never recover from it. Whatever the legitimacy of that statement, he was more speculating that the NBA wanted that to occur versus him being involved in actually.
I'm sure that happens
tampering.
all the time.
All the time. I mean, we've all known it. Like, I like how these like news stories when hearings happen and be like, this happened, like we kind of know. This is just confirming what we already knew, especially with the Jordan era finals.
Also, who could blame them? They're making so much money off that shit. Like, hey, make it just a tiny bit harder for Dallas to win.
I mean, we wanted a longer series, right?
Yeah.
It's like we're not that mad at the WWF. Or are we?
The WWF?
Yeah.
I don't understand why you said
Like
that.
scripted
Oh,
stuff,
okay,
you know?
yeah.
Scripted simulation.
Well, we're saying that we're okay with the NBA manipulating the
No.
games to extend the...
But we
It
have
sounds deeply
sensed it.
deeply unethical.
We've sensed it, and people have said it's true. Like Donaghy, whatever, if we believe him or not, but he's saying literally that that's what happened.
Right, but I don't think anyone is comfortable with that occurring in the way of its acceptability in comparison to the WWF.
But that's not what I'm saying. It's a confirmation of what we felt. We're like, something's up, man. Like, it feels like the NBA is trying to do this thing. We all felt that at some point.
It'd be like if in 20 years a book gets written and like Paul Pierce did shit his pants or like James Harden did bump his head, you know.
Do I think that the NBA, because who is the NBA? Are we saying it was Stern or
a collection
Silver?
of owners, maybe, or like an inner circle of people who run TV,
right? But
rights and stuff.
I'm saying like we kind of have to be specific, right? Because the NBA is the collection of owners with the commissioner and the
works for
league
the
offices working for them. So the idea that people who are answering to the owners would be manipulating games in which the owners' teams are involved doesn't pass the sniff test.
Why not? Because if revenue sharing exists and you get revenue from like a couple more finals games on TV, everyone gets a piece, and your team is
Because
out
you don't
anyway.
get more money for that.
But moving forward, you do, because like.
You don't, though. You don't get more money because the series went 7 versus 5.
But okay,
Your TV contract is the same.
But explain to me this: like the viewership for the Warriors spiked like a few years ago, and that increased the cap, and it made the league wealthier. You're saying that didn't happen?
That wasn't their viewership.
It was the rights. Okay, different question. Where did that money come from? Where did that surplus of money come from the Warriors?
My understanding was that it was from ticket sales.
From just that one team throughout the league traveling?
Maybe ticket sales, and then there was the what was it? I forget exactly, but I thought it was like
I thought it was related to TV.
maybe
TV
maybe it was a TV deal with their own TV deal. But I mean, as I'm saying, my belief is that when they have the finals, you get a contract. It's not like, okay, we're gonna pay you X amount more if there's more games. Like
Are
that,
you sure?
like, yes.
Because that doesn't. Then why would the league look to extend the series?
I'm saying there isn't any reason they would look to extend the series.
But Donaghy just said there was.
Right, and I'm saying I don't believe him.
Jesus,
okay,
can we
that's
just
fine.
talk about the fucking Sixers or something? What the hell?
Where did you just go?
I went to
That was
open.
quick.
I went to open the door.
Oh.
There was a special guest coming in who we won't be talking to.
Oh,
Interesting.
nice.
Yes,
Is it Moses?
it's Jake.
Okay. Well, do you have anything else to say about Mitchell Robinson? Anyone? Because I went to look at our board for the show, and it just says Mitchell Robinson.
Sit him. Bench him. It's over.
I think that
Save him.
bench him and start developing a Hoka basketball sneaker for him immediately.
I agree.
Are we going to delve at all into the Lakers here? Because no, like it's just a legitimate question. Like,
Yeah, and I just gave you a legitimate answer.
why
It
do you
was-
say we should not talk about the Lakers?
Because, like, I don't want to be fucking ESPN, dude. Like, I'm so sick of this shit.
But
But
we
why
can
are you?
make
What are
fun
you
of
so,
LeBron James.
what are you
in
upset?
LA.
What's the problem, Jordan? What's going on?
Are you
Come on.
mad? Are you mad at Bradley Cooper that Bradley Cooper didn't get his Oscar and it's the LA Hollywood bias?
Is this about Kobe?
It's about Kobe.
Is that what this is about?
No, okay, you guys, go ahead.
What's your reluctance to talk about the Lakers? That's more
I'm
interesting
bored.
to
I'm
me.
bored. I'm bored. I'm bored
Of
with
the
the
Lakers.
Lakers. I'm so fucking bored with the Lakers. Like, who cares? They're not making the playoffs. They're not making the
They're
playoffs
close.
next year. They're not getting another free agent.
Wow, these
They're
are
done.
Okay, I've got another team for you to talk about. That's
Cool.
a little more exciting. There's not a lot of attention about this. They are the Cookies playoff lock, Orlando Magic.
Ooh,
No one's talking about the Magic, who are, I believe, one game out of the 8th seed in the East.
the magic gathering of late season wins.
I mean, I think that's you could sure Magic. What I want to know is
Let's
like,
go from Magic to Magic.
Yeah, no, but what I want to know is why
I
does
missed that fucking segment? It was right there. All right, sorry.
Allie, no.
Why does nobody in the sports media, including us, talk about the fact that the Indiana Pacers are the 3rd seed in the East, above your
Deeply-
Philadelphia 76ers superstar squad?
There's a lot of chatter about Miles Turner turning into like defensive player of the year maybe, and he's awesome. And finally he's playing like we hoped he would. But they're an eternally boring team.
Yeah, they're
eternally
so
boring
boring.
city. Like Indiana Hoosiers basketball tradition, Reggie Miller, who was kind of super fun. But like since then no one cares. Like Oladipo is like a super fun player, superstar on most other markets. Indiana just like he dies on the vine a little bit.
They just squander players left, right, and center.
But let's think of their superstars.
Paul George.
No.
current.
Currently, Bogdanovich is playing very well, or their best players. Bogdanovich, Turner, your boy Sabonis. Like these are fun nerd guys, but they're not driving any sort of like ads or ticket sales or anything.
But they are 3rd in the East, and
But it's a
people
week.
only.
It's a weekly conference, and
I mean, they're better
East is
than the
weak.
Sixers and the Celtics right now.
Better than the
I mean,
Sixers.
those are two of the most marquee teams in basketball, at least in terms of like
That's fair.
star
That's-
power.
And
That's
people
fair, but
only
they're-
talk about basically Bucks, Philly, Toronto, and Celtics as having any chance in the playoffs, but they're ahead of 2 of those teams. They're a good team with good chemistry,
but also like
not like the Celtics or the Lakers.
I mean, the Celtics take Indiana easily in a 7-game series, right? Like Indiana,
according to Kyrie, sure.
because he's there, right? I just think that we're taking the seeding a little too literal. Like, for example, if the Lakers make the 8th seed, we'd be like, oh, mission accomplished. But it's only a couple games away from like not making the 8th seed. So we're talking about like really marginal differences here. I think I saw something where the Lakers, if the Lakers beat the worst teams in the league, like they're supposed to, like New York and the Hawks, I think they would be a 6th seed, and we wouldn't be talking about them. It's just like all perception.
Can we?
Wait, it's
before
not all perception. It's actually like wins and losses.
The Pacers
No,
have
but
a
what
great.
kind of wins and losses?
The Pacers have a great defense, though.
No, they're a good team. If they fell to the 6th seed, we'd be like, oh, well, we don't have to talk about them. But they're the same team, right?
Why are you derailing my conversation that was leading up to MVP candidate Nikola Vucevic?
It's the V,
the Vooch.
The V in MVP stands for Vooch. Jonathan Isaac, man, him turning into the player we wanted him to be has like really helped that team.
Vooch is having a fantastic year. I'm really excited to see a guy who is sort of written off as being prehistoric because he's slow-footed, can't really defend that well, and like worked on his game and became a modern player. He added a 3-ball, became a much better passer, and actually a better defender. He's like a solid defensive player. He's an elite rebounder. Like he just became a wonderful player.
I love it when players make that jump outside of like the NBA puberty years. You know, how old is he now? Like 27, 28?
28, yeah.
That's awesome. He's awesome. He's super fun. Orlando is such a weird team, right? Like, there was no one more exciting than Penny and Shaq when they were there. And they have, like, legit ballers on that team now. Like, Aaron Gordon won... he runner-up to the slam dunk competition. No one cares about Aaron Gordon.
It's interesting that he was viewed as a superstar in waiting, like his first couple of years. And now he's just kind of well paid, but okay. The one thing that strikes me about Orlando that is surprising is they're winning because they've had the best defense in the NBA over the last month and a half, or 15 games.
It's Jonathan
whatever.
Isaac.
And it's like Orlando is an elite defensive team because of Isaac, because of Vooch, because of Gordon, because of Bamba when he's playing. He's a good defender, but
Bamba hasn't played at all. Actually.
No, I'm saying he's not. He hasn't done anything. But they actually have some talent that's good at something.
Which is funny. I mean, not to always bring it back to New York, but this is the Mitchell Robinson effect. This is the Jonathan Isaac effect, the Miles Turner vibe in Indiana. A lockdown rim defender who can close out on the 3-point line, who have the skill set to play defense, huge. Like, it could just make you like a 3rd seed in the East.
I do wonder if you could get Mitchell Robinson to play 30 minutes a game and be able to stay on the floor, he would probably be more valuable to the Knicks than, say, Tatum or Jaylen Brown are to the Celtics. Just in terms of we're talking about landing places and what players are already there. And I know that sounds insane to be like, no, Tatum is a star in waiting. He'll probably be an all-star, all those things. But if Mitchell Robinson can play real minutes and be an elite rim protector who catches lobs and does all these things, it might be more conducive to winning than a guy who gives you 20 points from, say, like the wing.
It's a Marcus Smart thing, right? As soon as he started hitting threes at like a league average level, he becomes the most valuable player on the Celtics. That's not Kyrie Irving and Horford. Like, he's more valuable than Tatum or Jaylen Brown to that team. He's like a whirling dervish of activity, and he stopped hurting you from 3. So right. I know where you're going with this, and that's what makes Mitchell Robinson that exciting.
We're back to Mitchell Robinson.
Where'd you go, Jordan?
To wash my hands
That's cool.
of this conversation.
I feel like we've really done a great job today. It might have been the perfect Mitchell Robinson pod.
Yeah. I mean, it was the perfect pod because we didn't talk about the unmentionables.
The Sixers?
We're not talking about the Sixers. Who play OKC tonight.